Thank you very much. Hello, everybody. My name is Harvey. It's really nice to see you all tonight. This evening, we're going to have a great time together. But I just need to explain a couple things before we get started. As you can see, I am not your usual master of ceremonies. I'm just a normal 6 foot tall talking white rabbit. Originally, I come from New York, as you may have decided, where for years I led an ordinary 6 foot tall talking white rabbit life. Until that is, I got roped into being in this play. At first, the idea gave me pause. Before I finally decided to hop right into it because, this kind of opportunity is here today and gone tomorrow. Anyway, okay. Now let me say right off that if I seem to be invisible, that's just your imagination playing tricks on you. Don't worry. That'll clear up after you see my little play and spend some time with a very dear friend of mine. Now, some people say I'm what they call a puka. Well, don't let that bother you either. If I am a puka, whatever that may mean, I am the kind that's good at helping people make friends, as my best friend, Elwood G. Dowd, can tell you. You'll meet Elwood in just a few minutes, but before you do, I need to tell you a little bit about him. First of all, you see, Elwood is a gentle man. You won't meet a more easygoing guy anyway. But he's also a gentleman, and that means he's pretty fussy about good manners. For instance, if any of you would come to the theater tonight with Elwood, he would probably remind you not to bring food into the audience area during the performance. In his opinion, you see, munching on snacks while our actors are trying to act is just not very courteous. By the way, another thing about pukas is they can sometimes tell the future. Just the other day, a hunch came to me right out of the blue that someday, maybe a long time after the year 1943, where we now find ourselves, someday a regular old telephone will turn into something called a cell phone. Now, I'm not sure quite what that will be, but if it makes a ringing sound of some kind, like our regular telephones or, plays music, whatever, then people of the future might want to keep Elwood's rule of courtesy in mind and turn these cell phones off during a theater performance like today. And speaking of performance, my ability to predict the future also tells me that the show is just about to begin. So thanks for listening, friends. I'll see you in the play, and you'll see me too, if you really want to.
Dear, not with all of them there. See, I'm busy.
Mother, it's the society editor of the evening news beat.
The society editor. She's very important. Good afternoon, Miss Ellerby. Yes, a tea and reception for the members of the Wednesday Forum. You might say program tea. My mother, the late Marcella Penny Dowd, pioneer cultural leader. She came here by ox team as a child. Myrtle, how many would you say?
75 at least? Oh, say 100.
75. Miss Tewksbury is the soloist, accompanied by Wilda McCurdy, accompanist.
Oh, Mother, hurry! Mrs. Tewksbury's almost finished with her number.
She'll do an encore.
What if she doesn't get a lot of applause?
I've known her for years. She'll do an encore. You might say that I'm entertained, assisted by my daughter, Miss Myrtle May Simmons. Myrtle, what color would you call that?
Rancho Rose, they told me.
Miss Myrtle May looks charming in a modish Rancho Rose tone crepe, picked up at the girdle with a touch of magenta on emerald. Oh, I wish you could see her, Miss Ellerby.
Oh, Mother, hurry! And where's the cateress?
Everything's ready. The minute she's finished singing, we'll open the dining room doors and begin pouring. The parlors and halls are festooned with smilax. Yes, festooned. Oh, why, yes, this is the first party we've had in years. There's a reason why I don't want it in the papers. We all have our troubles, Miss Ellerby. The guest list, why yes.
Mother,
If you'll excuse me, I'll call you later.
Oh, Mother, Mrs. Chauvenet just walked in.
Mrs. Eugene Chauvenet Sr. Her father was a scout with Buffalo Bill.
So that's where she got that hat.
Myrtle, you must be kind to Mrs. Chauvenet. She's got a grandson about your age.
But what difference will it make with Uncle Elwood?
Remember, we agreed not to talk about that this afternoon. The whole point of this party is to get you started. We'll start with the older women and work through the younger group.
You can't have anyone over in the evenings, and that's when men come to see you. In the evenings. Oh, the only reason why we can have this party is because Uncle Elwood is at the 4th Avenue Firehouse playing pinochle. Thank God for the firehouse.
I know, but they'll just have to invite you out and it won't hurt them one bit. Oh, Myrtle, you've got so much to offer. I don't care what anyone says, there's something so sweet about every young girl. Oh, when a man just takes that sweetness and look what he does with it. Oh, but you've got to find somebody, and that's all there is to it.
If I do, they'll say, that's Myrtle May Simmons. Her uncle is Elwood P. Dowd, the biggest screwball in town. Elwood P. Dowd and his pal.
You promised.
All right, let's get the guests into the dining room.
Very well. Oh, now when the guests come in here and you give your little speech on behalf of your grandmother, be sure to do this.
And then I'll mention my Uncle Elwood and say a few words about his pal Harvey. Damn Harvey!
Oh, that's right, Myrtle May. Let everyone in the Wednesday Forum hear you. You said that name. You promised me you wouldn't say it, and you said it.
But Mother, how do you know Uncle Elwood will come in and just start introducing Harvey to everyone?
This is so unkind of you. Your uncle is the biggest heartache I have. Even if people do call him peculiar, he's still my brother, and he won't be here this afternoon.
Are you sure?
Of course I'm sure.
But Mother, why can't we live like other people?
Must I remind you again? We are not, your uncle is not living with us, we are living with him.
Living with him and Harvey?
Oh,
Did Grandmother know about Harvey?
I wondered and wondered about that. She never wrote to me if she did.
Why did she have to leave all of her property to Uncle Elwood?
I suppose it's because she died in his arms. People are sentimental about those things.
You always say that, and it doesn't make any sense. She couldn't make out her will after she died.
Don't be didactic, Myrtle May. It's unbecoming in a young girl, and men loathe it. Oh, now don't forget to wave your hand.
I'll do my best.
Oh, Miss Tewksbury's voice is certainly fading.
But not fast enough.
Lovely, Miss Tewksbury! Perfectly lovely! I loved it!
Come along, Harvey. What are you doing over there? Come on. Miss Tewksbury, it's really going on for a Oh, excuse me a moment. I have to answer the phone. Make yourself comfortable. Hello? Oh, you've got the wrong number. But how are you anyway? This is Elwood P. Dowd speaking. I'll do. Oh, well, thank you. And what is your name, my dear? Miss Elsie Greenwald. Harvey, it's Miss Elsie Greenwald. How are you today, Miss Greenwald? That's fine. Yes, my dear. I would be happy to join your club. I belong to several clubs now. The University Club, the Country Club, and the Pinnacle Club at the 4th Avenue Firehouse. I've spent a good deal of my time there, or down at Charlotte's place, or over at Eddie's bar. And what is your club, my dear? Harvey, I get the Ladies' Home Journal, Good Housekeeping, and the Open Road for Boys for 2 years for $6.25. It sounds fine to me. I'll join. Harvey, how does it sound to you? Harvey says it sounds fine to him also, Miss Greenwald. He'll join too. Yes, 2 subscriptions. Mail everything to this address. Well, I hope I will have the pleasure of meeting you sometime, my dear. Harvey, she says she would like to meet me too. When? When would you like to meet me, Miss Greenwald? Well, why not right now? My sister seems to be having a few friends in, and we would consider it an honor if you would join us. My sister will be delighted. 343 Temple Drive. Well, I hope to see you in a very few minutes, my dear. Goodbye. She's coming right over. Harvey, don't you think we'd better freshen up a bit? Yes, so do I. After you, Harvey.
Oh, I can't seem to remember where I put that guest list. I must read it to Miss Ellerby. Have you seen it, Mr. Johnson?
I'm afraid not, Mrs. Simmons.
Check on my dresser.
Very good, ma'am.
Oh, Mother, Mrs. Chauvenet wants to speak to you. Please make it quick. Here's Mother, Mrs. Chauvenet. Here she is. Vida Louise Simmons, I thought you were dead.
Aunt Ethel. Oh no, I'm very much alive, thank you.
And this grown-up girl is your daughter. I've known you since you were a baby. I know. What's your name, dear?
This is Myrtle, Aunt Ethel. Myrtle May for the 2 sisters of her father. He's dead. That's what confused you.
Where's Elwood?
He couldn't be here. Oh, now let me get you some tea.
Elwood isn't here.
No.
Oh, shame on him. That was the main reason I came. I want to see Elwood.
Oh, come now, there are loads of people anxious to speak with you.
Do you realize, Vida, it's been years since I've seen Elwood.
No, where does the time go?
But I don't understand it. I was saying to Mr. Chauvenet only the other night, what on earth do you suppose has happened to Elwood Dowd? He never comes to the club dances anymore. I haven't seen him at a horse show in years. Does Elwood see anybody these days?
Yes, Aunt Ethel. Elle would see somebody.
Yes, he certainly does. Your Uncle Elwood, child, is one of my favorite people. Always has been.
Yes, I remember.
Is Elwood happy, Vida?
Yes, Aunt Ethel. Elwood is perfectly happy. You mustn't worry about Elwood. Oh, why look at that! Mrs. Frank think she looks badly, you should see him.
Is that so? I must have them over. She looks frightful. I thought she was dead.
Oh no.
Now, what about tea, Vita?
Certainly, if you'll forgive me, I will precede you.
Elwood! Elwood Dowd! Bless your heart!
Aunt Ethel, what a pleasure to come in and find a beautiful woman waiting for you.
Oh, Elwood, you haven't changed.
Oh, come along, Aunt Ethel, you mustn't miss the party.
There's punch if you don't like tea. But I do like tea. Stop pulling at me, you two. Elwood, what night next week can you come to dinner?
Any night. Any night at all, Aunt Ethel. I would be delighted.
Elwood, dear, some mail came for you. I brought it up to your room.
That was nice of you. Aunt Ethel, I want you to meet Harvey. As you can see, he's a puka. Harvey, you've heard me speak of Mrs. Chauvin? We always used to call her Aunt Ethel. She is one of my oldest and dearest friends. Yes, that's right. She's the one. This is the one. He says he would have known you anyway. You both look lovely. Come on with me, Harvey. We must say hello to all our friends. Aunt Ethel, I beg your pardon. If you'll excuse me for one moment.
What?
You're standing in this way. Come on, Harvey. Bow ties crooked. Oh, my. Is that better? Go right on in, Harvey. I'll join you in a minute. Mr. Johnson. Excuse me. Aunt Ethel, I can see you are disturbed about Harvey. Please don't be. He stares like that at everybody. It's his way. But he liked you. I could tell. He liked you very much.
Some tea, perhaps?
Not right now. I think I better be running along. But
I am so sorry.
I'll be talking to you later. Goodbye. Goodbye. Oh no. Uncle Elwood's fault. If it's not his fault, well, then whose fault is it?
Never you mind, I know whose fault it is. Oh, now pick up your chin, put a smile on that face, and go in there as though nothing has happened.
You're no match for Uncle Elwood.
You'll see.
Mother wants to speak with you.
Elwood, can I speak with you for a moment, dear?
Yes. Excuse me, Harvey.
Elwood, dear, would you mind sitting here for a moment? I need to speak with you. It's very important.
Well, of course, sister. I happen to have a little free time right now, and you're welcome to all. Now, we want Harvey to live too.
Yes, Elwood, I certainly do.
Sit down, Harvey. Vita wants to talk to us. She said it was very important. I think she wants to congratulate us on the impression we made at her party. Jane Austen, with Pride and Prejudice. Deluxe edition, limited, Grosset and Dunlap. The usual acknowledgements. Chapter 1.
Mrs. O.R. Simmons, 343 Temple Drive. Is that right?
We were born and raised there. It's old, but we love it. It's our home.
And you wish to enter your brother here at the sanitarium for treatment. Your brother's name?
It's,
Mrs. Simmons, what is your brother's name?
I'm sorry. Life isn't easy for any of us. But I'll just have to pick up my head and go on just the same. That's what I keep telling Myrtle, and that's what Myrtle May keeps telling me. Oh, she's heartbroken over her Uncle Elwood. Elwood P. Dowd, that's it.
Elwood P. Dowd. His age?
47 on the 24th of last April. He's Taurus. Taurus the bull. I'm Leo, and Myrtle is on a cusp.
47. Is he married?
Oh, no. Elwood never married. He stayed at home with Mother. He was always such a good homeboy. He loved his home.
You have him with you now.
Oh, yes, he's just in the taxi cab in the driveway. I paid the cab driver $1 to stay with him. Oh, but I didn't tell the man why. You can't tell these things to perfect strangers.
Mr. Wilson, would you go out to a taxi cab in the driveway and ask Mr. Dowd if he'd be good enough to go to room 24 South of G?
Ask him.
This is his sister, Mrs. Simmons.
Oh, how do? Why, certainly, yeah. I'd be glad to escort him.
Thank you.
The rates for Mrs. Simmons. You'll find them printed on this card.
Oh, no, that'll all be taken care of by my mother's estate. The late Marcella Penny Dowd. Judge Gaffney is our attorney.
I'll see if Dr. Sanderson can see you.
Dr. Sanderson? But I wish to speak to Dr. Chumley himself.
Oh, Mrs. Simmons. Dr. Sanderson is the one who sees everybody. Dr. Chumley sees no one.
He's still head of this institution, isn't he? He's still a psychiatrist, isn't he?
Still a psychiatrist. Dr. Chumley is more than that. He is a psychiatrist with a national reputation. Whenever people have mental breakdowns, they at once think of Dr. Chumley.
Well, that's his office, isn't it? You go right in there and tell him who's out here. Once he knows it's me, he'll come right out.
Oh, I wouldn't dare disturb him, Mrs. Simmons. I would be discharged if I did.
Well, I don't like being put on to any second fiddle.
Dr. Sanderson is no one's second fiddle. He's young, of course, and he hasn't been out of medical school very long, but Dr. Chumley tried out 12 and kept Dr. Sanderson. It was really wonderful. To the patients.
Very well, tell him I'm here.
Right away.
Dear.
Vina, isn't this wonderful? Mrs. Simmons?
Oh, you startled me. Oh, you're Dr. Sanderson?
Yes, please have a seat.
Thank you. I hope you don't think I'm jumpy like that all the time. It's just...
Of course not. Miss Kelly tells me you're concerned about your brother. Dow, is it? Elwood P. Dow?
Yes, Doctor. You see, oh, this isn't easy for me.
Naturally, these things are never easy for the families of patients. I understand.
It's what Elwood is doing to himself. That's the thing. Myrtle is young and she has the right to have nice friends. She's got her whole life ahead of her. Oh, that's my daughter.
Your daughter, right. Now, how long has it been since you began to notice any peculiarity in your brother's actions?
Oh, we noticed it right away when Mother died and Myrtle and I came home from Des Moines to live with Elwood. We could see that
That he what? Take your time, Mrs. Simmons. Don't strain. Let it come.
Doctor, everything I say is confidential, isn't that right?
That's understood.
Because it's a slap in the face to everything we've stood for in this community, the way Elwood is acting now.
I'm not a gossip, Mrs. Simmons. I'm a psychiatrist.
Well, for one thing, he drinks.
To excess?
To excess? Don't you call it excess whenever a man never lets a day go by without stepping into one of those cheap taverns, sitting around with riffraff and people you've never heard of, inviting them to the house, playing cards with them, giving them food and money. All I'm doing is trying to get Myrtle started with a nice group of young people. If that isn't excess, I'm not sure what excess is.
I didn't doubt your statements, Mrs. Simmons. I merely asked if your brother drinks.
Well, certainly, I say he does. And I want him committed out here permanently, because I cannot stand another day of him in that Harvey. Oh, Myrtle May and I have to set a place at the table for Harvey. We have to move over on the sofa to make room for Harvey. We have to answer the telephone whenever Elwood calls and asks to speak to Harvey. Oh, and earlier at the party with Mrs. Chauvin there. Oh, we didn't even know anything about Harvey until we came back home. Don't you think it would have been a little bit kinder of Mother to have written and told us about Harvey? Don't you now, Doctor?
Well, I really couldn't answer
I can. It certainly would have.
This person you call Harvey, who is he?
He's a rabbit.
Perhaps. But just who is he? Some companion? Someone your brother's picked up in one of these bars whom you disprove?
Doctor, I've been explaining. Harvey is a rabbit. A big white rabbit. 6 feet high. Oh, or is it 6.5? Heaven knows I ought to know. He's been around the house long enough.
Miss Simmons, let me try to understand this.
Doctor, do I have to keep repeating myself? My brother insists that his closest friend is a big white rabbit. That rabbit's name is Harvey. Harvey lives at the house with us. They do everything together. He buys railroad tickets, theater tickets, nursing home. Why couldn't it be something human? Oh, he has me, doesn't he, Doctor? He has Myrtle May, doesn't he, Doctor? Oh, and what's worse, I'm going to tell you something I've never told anyone in this entire world before. Every once in a while, I see that big white rabbit myself. Oh, now isn't that awful?
Mrs. Simmons.
Oh, and what's worse, he's every bit as big as Elwood says he is. Oh, I haven't even said that to Myrtle May.
I can see that you've been under great nervous strain recently.
I certainly have.
Grief over your mother's death depressed you considerably?
Nobody knows how much.
Then losing sleep, perhaps?
How could anybody sleep with all that going on?
Short-tempered over trifles?
Oh, you just try living with those two and see how your temper holds up.
Loss of appetite?
How could anyone eat at a table with a big white rabbit? No, I'm through with it. I'm going to sell Elwood's house and become appointed conservator of his estate. Then Myrtle May and I can finally entertain our friends in peace. Oh, it's too much, Doctor. I just can't take it anymore.
Of course, Mrs. Simmons, of course. You're tired.
Oh, yes, I am.
You've been worrying a great deal.
I have. I can't help it.
But now I'm going to help you.
Oh, thank you.
You just sit there quietly, Mrs. Simmons. I'll be right back, okay?
Oh, I better go to the cab to grab Elwood's things.
Why didn't anyone answer the buzzer?
I take care
I
of it.
rang it or Mrs. Simmons. Someone call Wilson. That poor woman must not leave the grounds.
She's making a getaway, huh, Doc?
She's a serious case. Go after her. Henry, Dr. Sanderson, allow no one out of the main gate. We're looking for a patient. Thank you. Never have left him alone. No one would answer the buzzer.
Wilson wasn't south, Doctor.
What have we available, Miss Kelly?
Number 13 Upper West Arm is ready, Doctor.
Good, good. Have her taken there immediately and I'll prescribe preliminary treatment. I must contact her brother. Dow is the name, Elwood P. Dow. Could you get him on the phone, please, Miss Kelly?
But Doctor, I didn't realize it was the woman who needed the treatment. She said it was for her brother.
Of course she did. It's the oldest dodge in the world, always used by a cunning type of psychopath. She apparently knew her brother was about to commit her, so she came out here to discredit him. Get him on the phone.
But Doctor, I thought the woman was all right. So I had Wilson take the brother up to number 24 South Wing G. He's there now.
You had Wilson take the brother in? No, gags, please, Kelly. You're not serious, are you?
Oh, I did, Doctor, I did. Oh, Doctor, I'm terribly sorry.
You're sorry, it fixes everything.
I'll do it, Doctor, I'll do it. Miss Dunphy, would you please unlock the door to room 24 and give Mr. Dow his
And
clothes?
ask him to step down to the office right away.
Ask him to step down to the office right away. There's been a terrible mistake, and Dr. Sanderson wants to explain.
Explain, apologize.
Thank heavens they hadn't put him in a hydrotub yet. She'll let him out. Doctor, I feel terrible. I didn't know. Judge
Don't
Gaffney
do.
called earlier and said
It's
Mrs.
almost
Simmons
too
and her
good to be
brother would be
true.
out here. She didn't know. You don't have to be sarcastic.
Oh, don't I? Stop worrying. We'll squirm out of this some way.
Where are you going?
To the chief, I gotta tell him about it. He may want to handle this himself.
Oh, he'll be furious. I know he will. He'll die. And then he'll terminate me.
Come on. The responsibility's all mine.
Oh no. Tell him it was my fault, Doctor.
Don't worry, I never mentioned your name. Except in my sleep.
We'll just stand out.
Don't let him get away, I'll be right back.
Oh, what shall I do? What shall I say to him? He'll be furious.
Look, Kelly, he's probably fit to be tied, but he's a man, isn't he?
I guess so. His name is Mr.
Go into your old routine then, you know, the eyes, the swish, the works. I'm immune, but I've seen it work on some people. So the patience out here. Keep them here, Kelly, even if you have to do a straight tease.
Well, hold on. Oh, you're wonderful, Dr. Sanderson. You are just about the most wonderful person I ever met in my life.
Yeah, how about giving me a lift? You're just the same.
What?
That's Simmons' Day.
Did you catch her?
Slick as a whistle. She was coming along the path from a little tune. I jumped out at her from behind a tree and I says, "Sister, there's a man who wants to see you." You said I heard her yell. She's wacky, alright.
Take her to number 13 Upper West Yard.
She's up there now. I took her into the doctor kitchen. She is screaming and kicking like hell. I'll hold her and you'll come and dress her.
Just a second, Wilson. Dr. Sanderson told me to wait here until the brother comes down.
Yeah, make it snap.
You're Mr. Dow?
Oh. Elwood P.
I'm Miss Kelly.
Let me give you one of my cards. If you should want to call me at this number. Don't call me at that one. That's the old one.
Thank you.
Perfectly all right. And if you should lose it, don't worry, my dear. I have plenty more.
Won't you have a chair, please, Mr. Dow?
Thank you. I'll have two. Allow me.
Dr. Sanderson is very anxious to talk to you. He'll be here in a minute. Please, have a seat.
After you, my dear.
Oh, I really can't, thank you. I'm in and out all the time, but you mustn't mind me. Please, be seated.
After you.
Could I get you a magazine to look at?
I would much rather look at you, Miss Kelly, if you don't mind. You really are very lovely.
Oh, well, thank you. Some people don't seem to notice.
Some people are blind. That is often brought to my attention. And now, I'd like to have you meet...
Oh, Mr. Dow! Thank you so much for coming in.
Elwood P. Let me give you one of my cards. If you should want
I'm
to...
Dr. Lyman Sanderson, Dr. Chubb's assistant out here.
Well, good for you. I'm happy to know. How are you, Doctor?
It's going to depend on you, I'm afraid. Please, have a seat. You met Miss Kelly, Mr. Dow?
Oh, yes, I have had that pleasure. And I want the both of you to meet a very dear...
Later on, be glad to. But won't you be seated? Because first I want to say...
After Miss Kelly.
Sit down, Kelly. Is that chair quite comfortable, Mr. Dow?
Oh, yes, thank you. Would you care to try?
Oh, no, thank you. Thank you. Is it too warm in here, Mr. Dow? Would you like me to open the window? Perhaps?
Mr. Dow, Dr. Sanderson wants to know if you should open the window.
That's entirely up to him. I wouldn't presume to live his life.
Mr. Dow, I can see that you're not the kind of man to be taken by high-flown phrases or beating about the bush.
Is that so, Doctor?
And you have said a disadvantage shaped out. You know it and we know it, so let's just lay the cards on the table.
Well, that certainly appeals to me, Doctor.
Now, the best way in the long run. People are people no matter where you go.
Well, that is very often the case.
And being human are therefore liable to mistakes. Miss Kelly and I have made a mistake here this afternoon, Mr. Dowd. We'd like to explain it to you.
It wasn't Dr. Sanderson's fault, Mr. Dow. It was mine.
A human family, as I said.
I find it very interesting, nevertheless. You and Miss Kelly here? This afternoon, you say?
We do hope you'll understand, Mr. Dowd.
Oh, yes, yes. These things are often the basis of a long and warm friendship.
The responsibility is not yours, but mine.
Your attitude may be old-fashioned, Doctor, but I like it.
Now, if I had seen your sister first, that'd be an entirely different story.
Now, there you surprise me. I think the world and all of you have, but I had supposed she had seen her dead.
You must not attach any blame to her, Mr. Dowd. She's a very, very sick woman. Came in here insisting you're in need of treatment. That's perfectly ridiculous.
Vita shouldn't be upset about you. I get along fine.
Exactly. But she'd already spoken to Miss Kelly, and there had been a phone call from your family lawyer, Judge Gaffney.
Oh yes, I know him. Know his wife too. Nice people.
Is there something I can do for you, Mr. Dowd?
What did you have in mind?
Never mind. Your sister was extremely nervous and plunged right away into a heated tirade on your drinking.
That was Vita.
She became hysterical.
I tell Vita not to get upset about that. I'll take care of that.
Exactly. And I suppose you drink now and then, same as the rest of us?
Oh yes, Doctor. As a matter of fact, I would like one right now.
Matter of fact, so would I. But your sister's reaction to the whole matter of drinking was entirely too intense. Does your sister drink, Mr. Dowd?
Oh no, Doctor. No. I don't believe Vita has ever taken a drink.
Well, I'm going to surprise you here, Dowd. I believe she has and does, constantly.
Well, I am certainly surprised.
But it's not her alcoholism that's going to be the basis for the diagnosis of her case. No, no. It's much more serious than that. It's when she began talking so emotionally about this big white rat, Harvey. Yes, I believe she called him Harvey.
Harvey is his name.
She claimed you were persecuting her with Harvey.
I haven't been persecuting her, Harvey. Vita shouldn't feel that way. And now, Doctor, before we go any further, I must insist you let me...
Let me make my point first, Mr. Dowd. The trouble with your sister didn't spring up overnight. Her condition stems from trauma.
From what?
From trauma. Spelled T-R-A-U-M-A. It means shock. Nothing unusual about it. There's the birth trauma, the shock to the act of being born.
That's the one we never get over.
Nice sense of humor, Mr. Dowd. Doesn't he, Miss Kelly?
Oh, yes, doctor.
May I say the same about both of
To
you?
sum it all up, your sister's reaction, your sister's condition is serious. However, I can help her. She must remain out here temporarily, though.
I have always felt that Vita should have whatever she needs.
Exactly.
But I wouldn't want Vita to stay out here unless she liked it out and wanted it.
Of course. Did Wilson get what he went after, Miss Kelly?
Yes, doctor.
And what was Mrs. Simmons' attitude?
Not unusual, doctor.
Mr. Dowd, if this were an ordinary delusion, something reflected on the memory picture, in other words, if she were seeing something she'd only seen once, that would be one thing. But this is much more serious. It stands to reason no one has ever seen a white rabbit 6 feet high.
Not very often, Doctor.
I like you, Dowd.
I like you too, Doctor. And Miss Kelly. I like her too.
So, she must be committed out here temporarily. Under these circumstances, I'd commit my own grandmother.
Does your grandmother drink too?
It's just an expression. Now, could you come over here and sign these temporary commitment papers as next of kin? Just a formality.
Oh, you better have Vita do that. She does all the signing and managing for the family. She's good at it.
We can't disturb her now, Dowd.
Perhaps I'd better call Judge Gaffney.
You can explain it to him all later. Tell him I advised it. And it's not as if you couldn't drop in any time and make inquiries. Glad to have you. In fact, I'll tell you what I'll do. I'll make a full visitor's pass out for you. When would you like to come back next? Wednesday, say? Friday?
You and Miss Kelly have been so lovely, I can come back right after dinner. About an hour.
We're pretty busy around here, but I guess it's all right.
Well, I don't really have to go now. I'm not very hungry.
Delighted to have you stay, but Miss Kelly and I do need to go upstairs now. Plenty of work to do. But I tell you what you might like to do.
What might I like to do?
We don't usually do this, but just to make sure your mind, your sister's in good hands, why don't you have a look around the place? If you go up these stairways, right here, and to the right, you'll find the conservatory. and then down the hall, you'll find the occupational therapy room, the diet kitchen, and the library.
For Vita's sake, I believe I'd better do that, Doctor.
Very well then. It's been a great pleasure having this little talk with you, Mr. Dowd.
I've enjoyed it too, Doctor. Meeting you and Miss Kelly.
And I will say that for the layman, you show an unusually acute perception into psychiatric problems.
Is that a fact? I never thought I knew anything about it. Nobody does, do you think?
A good psychiatrist is not found under every bush.
You have to pick the right bush. Since we all seem to have enjoyed this so much, let us keep right on. I'd like to invite the two of you to come down with me to Charlie's place and have a drink. When I enjoy people, I like to stay right with them.
We're on duty now. Just give us a rain check some other time if you're glad to.
When?
I can't say right now. Miss Kelly and I don't get off till 10 o'clock at night.
Well, then we'll go to Charlie's at 10 o'clock tonight.
Well,
And you, Miss Kelly?
Dr. Chumley doesn't approve of members of the staff fraternizing. But since you've been so understanding, perhaps we can manage it.
I'll pick the two of you up out here in the cab at 10 o'clock tonight. And the four of us will spend a happy evening. I want the two of you to become friends with a very dear friend of mine. You said later on, so later on it will be. Goodbye for now.
Oh,
Now I can read again.
boy, that was a close shave, all right, but seemed to be a pretty reasonable sort of fellow. That man's proud. What he has to be proud of, I have absolutely no idea. But I played up to that pride. You can get to almost anybody if you want. Now, I must look into that Simmons woman.
Dr. Sanderson, you say that you can get to almost anyone if you want to. How can you do that?
Take study, Kelly. Years of specialized training. Now, there's only one thing I don't like about this down business.
What's that?
How to make that date with him. Of course, this man has left here as a good friend and booster of the sanitarium, so I guess I'll have to go with him. But you don't have to go.
Oh,
No point in it. I'll have a drink with him, pat him on the back, and leave. I got a date tonight anyways.
oh. Well, by all means. I didn't intend to go anyway. The idea bored me stiff. I wouldn't go if I never went anywhere again. I wouldn't go if my life depended on it.
What's the matter with you, Kelly? What are you getting so emotional about?
He may be a peculiar man with funny clothes, but he knows how to act. His manners were perfect.
I saw you giving the dull puss stare. I didn't miss that.
He wouldn't sit down till I sat down. He told me I was lovely and he called me dear. I'd go have a drink with him if you weren't going.
Sure you would. And look at him. All he does is hang around bars. It doesn't work. All that corny bowing and getting up out of his chair every time a woman makes a move. Why, he's outdated as a cast iron deer. But you sit with him in a bar, let him flatter you. You're a wonderful girl, Kelly.
Now let me tell you something.
Dr. Sanderson, Miss Kelly.
Yes, doctor.
Tell the gardener to prune more carefully around my prized dahlias along the fence by the main road. They'll be ready for cutting next week. The difficulty of the woman with the big white rabbit, has it been smoothed over?
Yes, doctor. I spoke to her brother and he was quite reasonable.
Well, I've had many patients out here who've seen animals. Never before had a patient with an animal that large.
Yes, doctor. I believe she called him Harvey.
Harvey. That's an unusual name for an animal of any kind. Harvey's a man's name. I've known several men of my day named Harvey, but I've never heard of any type of animal whatsoever with that name. The case has an interesting phase, Doctor.
Yes, doctor.
I will now go upstairs with you and look in on this woman. It may be that we can use my formula 977 on her. I'll give you my advice in prescribing the treatment, Doctor.
Thank you, doctor.
And now may I ask, what is that hat and coat doing on that chair? Who put it there?
I don't know. Was it Dowd's, Kelly?
He had his hat on, doctor. Perhaps it belongs to a relative of one of the patients.
Hand me that hat. Maybe some kind of identification. Let's see. What's this? There's 2 holes cut in the crown of this hat. See?
That's strange.
It's somebody fad. Put them away. Hang them up. Get them out of here.
Oh, hello, Dr. Chumley.
Oh, there you are.
How's every little old thing?
It's fair. Thank you, Wilson. It's fair.
give me a hand with that Simmons thing. Order a restraining jacket or something. She's terrible. Oh, forgot me, didn't you? Well, I got her corset off all by myself.
So we are going upstairs to look in on a patient right now, Wilson.
She's in the hydro tub now. I left the water running on her.
Remember your promise. Hello, Dr. Sanderson. Really? You haven't forgotten Dr. McClure's cocktail party, have you? We promised them faithfully.
That's right. We're going upstairs now to look in on a patient. We'll be back shortly.
Well, we need a little quick diagnosis, Willie. We don't want you late to the party. I'm dying to see the inside of that house. Good evening.
Good evening.
I am Mrs. Chumley, Dr. Chumley's wife.
I'm happy to know that. Down is my name. L with P. Let me give you one of my cards, Mrs. Chumley. If you should want to call me at this number. Don't call me at that one. That's the old one.
Thank you. Is there something I can help you with?
What did you have in mind?
You seem to be looking for someone.
Yes, I am. I'm looking for Harvey.
Harvey? Is he a patient here?
Oh no, nothing like that.
Well, does he work here?
No, he is what you might call my best friend. He is also a puka. He came out here with me and Vita this afternoon.
Well, where was he when you last saw him?
In that chair there, with his hat and coat.
Well, there doesn't seem to be any hat and coat around here now. Perhaps he left.
Apparently. I don't see him anywhere.
What was that word you just said? Puka?
Yes, that's it.
Is that something new?
Oh no. As I understand it, that's something very old.
Oh, really? Well, I had never happened to hear it before.
I'm not surprised at that. I hadn't heard it myself until I met him. I do hope you get the opportunity to meet him sometime. I'm sure he would be quite taken with you.
Oh, really? Well, that's very nice of you to say so, I'm sure.
Not at all. If Harvey happens to take a liking to someone, he expresses himself. Quite definitely. If he's not particularly interested, he sits there, like an empty chair or an empty space on the floor. Harvey takes his time making his mind up about people. Choosy, you see.
Well, that's not such a bad way to be in this day and age.
Harvey is fond of my sister, Vita. That's because he's fond of me, and Vita and I come from the same family. Now, you'd think that feeling would be mutual, wouldn't you? But Vita doesn't seem to care for Harvey. Isn't that rather too bad, Mrs. Sherman?
Oh, I don't know, Mr. Dowd. I gave up a long time ago expecting my family to like my friends. It's useless.
But we must keep on trying.
Well, there's no harm in trying, I suppose.
Because if Harvey has told me once, he has told me 1,000,000 times. Mr. Dowd, I would do anything for you. Mrs. Chapman,
Yes.
did you know that Mrs. McHelney's Aunt Rose is going to drop in on her unexpectedly tonight from Cleveland?
Why, no, I didn't.
And neither does she. That puts you two in the same boat, doesn't it?
Well, I don't know anybody named
Mrs. McHelney? She lives next door to us. Wonderful woman. Harvey told me about her Aunt Rose. Now that's an interesting little news item, and you are perfectly free to pass it around.
Well, I don't know, Mr.
Would
Dowd.
you care to come downtown with me now, my dear? I would be glad to buy you a drink.
Oh, well, thank you very much, but I am waiting for Dr. Chumley, and if he came down and found me gone, he would be liable to raise, well, he would be irritated.
We wouldn't want that, would we? Some other time, maybe.
I'll tell you what I'll do, however.
What would you do, however? I'm interested.
If your friend comes in while I'm still here, I'd be glad to give him a message for you.
Would you do that? I'd certainly appreciate that.
No trouble at all. I'll write it down on the back of this. Now, what would you like me to tell your friend if he comes in while I'm still here?
Tell him to meet me downtown, if he has no other plans.
Meet Mr. Dowd downtown. Any particular place downtown?
He knows where. Harvey knows this town like a book.
Harvey, you know where? Harvey what?
Just Harvey.
I'll tell you what.
What?
Doctor and I are going right downtown to talk and not you. Dr. McClure is having a cocktail party.
Cocktail party?
We'll be driving down in a few minutes. We could give your friend a lift into town.
I hate to impose on you, but I would certainly appreciate that.
No trouble at all. Dr. McClure is having this party for his sister from Wichita.
I didn't know Dr. McClure had a sister in Wichita.
Oh, you know Dr. McClure.
No.
Oh, but you said...
Once sure you haven't time to come to town and have a drink with me?
I really couldn't, but thank you just the same.
Some other time, perhaps.
Thank you.
Well, it's been very pleasant to meet you, and I hope to see you again.
Yes, so do I.
Goodbye for now.
Goodbye.
Oh, you can't miss Harvey. He's very tall. Like that. That Simmons woman is uncooperative, Doctor. She refuses to admit to me that she has this big habit. She insists it's her brother. Give her 2 of these at 9 and another at 10 if she continues to be so restless. Another trip to the hydro room at 8 and one in the morning at 7. Then we'll see if she won't cooperate tomorrow, won't we, Doctor? Yes, Doctor. You know where to call me if you need me. You ready, Pat?
Yes, Willie. And, oh, Willie!
Yes.
There was a man in here, a man named... Oh, let me see. Oh, here's his card. Dowd, Elwood P. Dowd.
That's Mrs. Simmons' brother, Doctor. I told him we could look around and gave him full visiting privileges.
She mustn't see anyone tonight. Not anyone at all. Tell her that.
Yes, Doctor.
Oh, he didn't ask to see her. He was looking for some friend of his.
Who could that be, Dr. Sanderson?
I don't know, Doctor.
He said it was someone he came out here with this afternoon.
Was there anyone with Dowd when you saw him, Callie?
No, Doctor, not when I saw him. Well, he said there was. Oh, he said he last saw his friend sitting right there in that chair with his hat and coat. He seemed quite disappointed. Dr. Sanderson, I told him that if we located his friend, we could give him a lift into town. He could ride in the back seat. Was that all right, Willie?
Of course, of course.
Oh, here it is. I wrote his name down in the back of this card. His friend's name was Harvey. Harvey.
Harvey who?
Oh, he didn't give me his last name. He also told me something else about him, a puka, but I didn't quite get what that was.
Harvey!
He said his friend was very tall and... Oh, well, why are you looking like that, Willie? This man was a very nice, polite man, and he merely asked them to give his friend a lift into town. And if we can't do a favor for someone, then why are we living?
Where did he go, Mr. Chumley? How long ago was he in here?
Give me that hat! By George, we'll find out about this.
I don't know where he went, just a second ago.
Come on, Henry. Henry! Dr. Sanderson. Gaffney. Judge Gaffney. Henry, did the man in a brown suit leave? He did? He's gone! Give me that.
What do you mean, hold? Oh. Judge Gaffney, this is Dr. William Chumley, the psychiatrist. I'm making a routine checkup on the spelling of a name before entering it into our records. Judge, you telephoned out here this afternoon about having a client of yours committed. How is that name spelled? With a W, not a U. Mr. Elwood P. Dowd. Thank you, Judge. Dr. Sanderson. I believe your name is Sanderson?
Yes, doctor.
You know that much, do you? You went to medical school? You specialized in the study of psychiatry? You graduated? You went forth? Perhaps they neglected to tell you that a rabbit has large pointed ears. That a hat for a rabbit would have to be perforated to make room for those ears.
Doctor, that seemed reasonable enough this afternoon.
Doctor, the function of a psychiatrist is to tell the difference between those who are reasonable and those who merely talk and act reasonably. Do you know what you've done to me? You don't answer, I'll tell you. You have permitted a psychopathic case to walk off these grounds and roam around with an overgrown white rabbit. You've subjected me, a psychiatrist, to the humiliation of having to call, of all things, a lawyer to find out who came out here to be committed and who came out here to commit.
Doctor, please.
Just a minute. Wilson, I want you. I will now have to do something I haven't done in 15 years. I will have to go out after this patient, Elwood P. Dowd, and I will have to bring him back. And when I do bring him back, your connection with this institution is ended as of that moment. Wilson, get the car.
Heads. Call the McClures and say we can't make it.
Miss Kelly, come upstairs with me and we will get this woman out of the tub.
Yes, doctor. I'll have to tell the cook we'll be home for dinner. She'll be furious. Wilson,
Yes, ma'am.
what is a puka?
A what?
A puka.
You can search for me, Mrs. Chumley.
I wonder if it would be in this encyclopedia here. They have everything here. I wonder if it would be a lodge or what it is. Oh, I don't dare stop to do this now. Dr. won't want to find me still here when he comes down. He'll raise. Oh dear.
P-O-O-K-A. Puka. From old Celtic mythology. A fairy spirit in animal form, always very large. The puka appears here and there, now and then, to this person and that person at its own caprice. A wise but mischievous creature, very fond of rum pots, crack pots, and how are you, Mr. Wilson? How are you, Mr. Wilson? Who in the encyclopedia wants to know? Oh, to hell with it.
mother. Where's Vita Louise?
Why, Judge, you know where she is. She went to take Uncle Elwood out to the sanitarium.
I know that. But why was I called to the club with a lot of hysteria? Could you get what she was talking about? Carrying on something fierce.
Mother carrying on? What about?
I don't know. She was hysterical.
That's silly. She took Uncle Elwood to the sanitarium. All she had to do was put him in. Did you find it? I'll be up with you in a minute. They found it.
Who? Found what? What are you talking about?
Well, when Mother went to take Uncle Elwood out to the sanitarium, I went to the real estate office to put the house on the market. And what do you think I found there?
Not a quiz kid.
Well, I found a man there who was looking for an old house just like this one to cut up into buffet apartments. He's going through it now.
Now see here. This house doesn't belong to you. It belongs to Uncle Elwood.
Oh, but now that Elwood is locked up, Mother controls the property, doesn't she?
Where is your mother? Where is Vita Louise?
Judge, I told you. She went out to Chumley's Rest to tell them about Harvey and to lock Uncle Elwood up.
But why did she call me to the club when I was in the middle of a game and scream at me to meet her here about something important?
I don't know. I simply don't know. Oh, have you got the deed to this house?
Certainly. It's in my safe. Colonel May, I feel pretty bad about this thing of locking Elwood up.
Mother and I will be able to take a long trip now. Up to Pasadena.
I always liked that boy. He could have done anything. Been anything. Made a place for himself in this community.
And all he did was get a big white rabbit.
He had everything. Brains, personality, friends. Men liked him. Women liked him. I liked him.
Do you mean to tell me that Uncle Elwood was once like other men? That women liked him? In that way, of course.
Not since he started running around with this big rabbit. But they did once. Once that mailbox of the grandmother's was full of those little blue-scented envelopes for Elwood.
I don't believe it.
Of course, there was always something different about Elwood.
Well, I don't doubt that.
Yes, it was always so calm to any sudden change in plans. I used to admire it. Should have been suspicious. Take your average man looking up and seeing a big white rabbit. He'd do something about it. But not Elwood. He took that calmly too. And look where it got him.
You have no idea how far he's gone with this rabbit.
Oh yes I do. He's had that rabbit in my office many's the time. I'm old, but I don't miss much. What's that noise?
The prospective fire on the third floor. Judge!
Vita Louise, what's wrong, girl?
Oh, I never thought I'd see either of you two again.
She looks like she's going to faint. Now, Mother, you're all right. You're going to be perfectly all right.
Steady, steady,
Oh.
steady.
Oh, please, not so
Oh.
fast. Sit down. Get me someplace where I can sit down.
Here you are, girl. Easy, Myrtle, easy.
Yes.
Get us some tea, Myrtle. You want some tea?
I'll get you some tea, Judge. Take her coat off, Judge.
Let Myrtle take her coat off. Take her coat off, Myrtle.
Oh, these girls, oh, let me sit you. Let me catch my breath.
Oh, let her catch her breath, Judge.
Oh, let me sit here. And then let me get upstairs to my own bed where I can let go.
Oh, Mother. Continue.
I want you to sue them, oh, Mother. Put me in and let Elwood out.
What's this?
Oh, just look at my
What did
hair.
you say? What did you do? You must have done something.
I didn't do one thing. I simply told them about Elwood and Harvey.
Then how can this happen to you? I don't understand it.
I told them about Elwood and Harvey, and then I went down to the camp to grab his things. As I was walking along the path, this awful man stepped out at me. Oh, he was a white slaver. I just know he was.
perhaps you'd better leave the room.
Now, I should say not. Go on, Mother.
He took me upstairs and then he tore my
My, I'll sue them for this.
and then he dumped me into a tub of water.
Oh, for heaven's sake.
I always thought that what you were showed on your face. Oh, but don't you believe it, Judge? Don't you believe it, Myrtle? Oh, but I fought. I always said that if a man stepped out at me, I'd fight. Haven't I always said that, Myrtle?
That's right, Judge. That's what Mother always told me to do.
Oh, and then those doctors came upstairs and started asking me all these filthy questions, all about sex urges and all that stuff. Oh, that place ought to be cleaned up. You've got to get the authorities to clean that place up, Omar. Oh, don't you ever go out there, you hear me?
This stinks, guy. By Jove, it stinks.
Oh, you've got to sue them, Judge. You've got to get that place cleaned up. Oh.
I will, girl. By Jove, I will. If Chumley thinks he can run an unsavory place like this on the outskirts of town, he'll be publicly chastised. By Jove, I'll run him out of the state.
Oh, tell me, Judge, is that all they do in places like that? Think about sex?
I don't know.
Because if it is, they ought to be ashamed of themselves. It's all in their head anyways. Why don't they go out for long walks in the fresh air? Judge Gaffney walked everywhere for years, didn't you, Judge?
Now, let me take some notes on this. You said these doctors tried to talk to you, Dr. Chumley and... what was the other doctor's name?
Dr. Sanderson. Oh, but don't you believe a single word he says. He's a liar. Close-set eyes, they're always liars. Oh, besides, I told him something in strictest confidence and he laughed at me.
What did you say, Mother?
Oh, let's forget it. I don't want to talk about it. You can't trust anybody.
Oh, anything you told us, Dr. Sanderson, you can tell us, Peter Louise. This is your doctor and I am your lawyer.
I know which is which. I don't want to talk about it.
Listen, Mother, this is the important thing anyways. Where is Uncle Elwood?
Oh, I should have known not to do anything about him. Something always protects him, that awful poor
Where is Uncle Elwood? Answer me!
How should I know? They let him go. They don't care about men at places like that. Don't act so naive, Myrtle May. What's that noise?
I found a buyer for the house.
What?
Listen, Mother, we've got to find Uncle Elwood. No matter who jumps at you, we've still got to lock up Uncle Elwood.
I don't know where he is. The next time you take him, Judge. Oh, just wait until Elwood hears what they did to me. He won't stand for it. Oh, don't forget to sue them, Judge. Myrtle Bay, all I hope is that never, never, as long as you live, a man rips the clothes off of you and dumps you into a tub of water. Oh,
Mother's got it mapped everything. Oh, no matter what happens, Uncle Elwood's still wandering around with Harvey.
The thing for me to do is to take some more notes.
He found out what she was up to, and he had her put in, and then he ran.
Oh, don't talk like that. Your uncle thinks the world and everything of your mother. Ever since he was a little boy, he always wanted to share everything he had with her.
I won't give up. We'll get detectives. We'll find him. And besides, you better save some of that sympathy for me and Mother. You have no idea what we put up with. Oh, just 6 months ago, he brought something home and we hid it out in the garage. Oh, just wait till I show you, Judge.
I'm going over to talk to Vita. There's more of this than she's telling. I can sense that.
Just you wait here.
All right, I'll wait.
All right, is he here?
What? What's this?
The crackpot with the rabbit, is he here?
No. And who may I ask are you?
Not here, doctor. Yeah. Dr. Chumley's coming in anyway. What's your name?
Chumley? Well, I've got something to say to him.
Oh, what's your name? Let's have it.
I am Judge Gaffney. Where is Chumley?
The reason I asked your name is the doctor likes to know who he's talking to. This guy says his name is Judge Gaffney, doctor.
Well, Chumley.
Good evening, Judge. Let's not waste time. It's been here.
Who? Ellen? No, let's see.
Are you sure he ain't been here? Oh, he's wise now. He's hiding. It'd be an awful job to smoke him out.
Will be more difficult, but I'll do it. They're sly, they're cunning. But I get them. I always get them. You got the list of places we've been, Wilson?
Right here, doctor.
Read it.
Been to 17 bars. Eddie's place, Charlie's place, Bessie's barn dance, the 4th Avenue firehouse, the 10th and 12th and 9th Avenue firehouses, just to be sure. The Union Station, the grain elevator. Say, why does this guy go down to a grain elevator?
The foreman is a friend of his. He has many friends, many places.
I've stopped by here this evening to ask Mrs. Simmons if she has any other ideas as to where we might find him.
I have to inform you, Dr. Chumley, that Mrs. Simmons has retained me to file suit against you.
What?
For what happened to her this afternoon in the sanitarium.
A suit!
And while we're on that subject,
But that's pretty, ain't it, doctor? After us dragging your tail all over town trying to find that guy.
What happened this afternoon was an unfortunate mistake. I've discharged my assistant who made it, and I'm prepared to take charge of this man's case personally. It interests me. And my interest in the case is something no amount of money can buy. You can ask any of them.
but this business this afternoon, Doctor.
There's water under the dam. This is how I see this thing. I see it this way. The important item now is to take this man and bring him back to the sanitarium where he belongs.
That's right, Judge. That's just what I think.
Let me introduce Miss Myrtle May Simmons, Mr. Dowd's niece, Mrs. Simmons' daughter.
How do you do, Dr. Chumley?
How do you do, Miss Simmons?
Hello, Myrtle.
Let me talk to Miss Simmons.
Doctor, Mother won't come down. I just know she won't. Oh, you try to get her to come down, Judge.
Now see here, your mother was manhandled. She was, God knows what she was. The man's approach to her was not professional. It was personal.
Wilson, this is a serious charge.
Doctor, I've been with you for 10 years. Are you really gonna believe... What's your name?
Gaffney. Judge Omar Gaffney.
Thanks. You really gonna take the word of this old blister Gaffney?
Wilson!
Me and a dame who sees a rabbit!
It is not Miss Simmons who sees a rabbit. It is her brother.
Yes, it is Uncle Elwood.
If you'll come with me, Doctor.
Very well, Judge. Wilson, I have a situation here. Wait for me.
Okay, doctor. So you're Myrtle May.
I mean, I guess.
If you grab your uncle, you're liable to be coming to the sanitarium on visiting days.
I mean, I don't really know.
If you do, I'll be there.
Oh, you will?
Yeah. And if you don't see me right away, stick around. I'll show up.
You will.
Sure. Your doctor told me to come in late.
Yeah.
Tell you what, while I'm waiting, I sure could use a sandwich and a cup of coffee.
Well, certainly, if you'll forgive me, I'll proceed you as litigation.
Yeah, you're a right Myrtle May.
What?
Dr. Chumley knows the right away. You don't miss a trick. I'll tell you something else, Myrtle.
What?
Not only got a nice bill, but kid, you got something else too.
What?
You got the screwiest uncle that ever stuck his puss inside of our nut house. Yeah, that's funny.
Harvey?
Harvey's rest? Is Dr. Chumley there? Oh, it's Mrs. Chumley. How are you, Mrs. Chumley? Tell me, my dear, were you able to locate Harvey? Don't worry about it. I'll find him. I mischecked the McCord cocktail party. The people were all charming then. I was able to leave quite a few of my cards. I waited until you phoned and said you couldn't come because of patients. Where am I? Well, I'm here. But I'm leaving very quickly. I must find Harvey. Well, goodbye, Mrs. Chumley. My regards to you and anybody else you happen to run into. Goodbye. Oh, Mr. Jones. Have you seen Harvey?
Afraid not, sir.
What's this? I've been looking all over for this. Mr. Johnson. What do you think?
Very good, sir.
Yes.
Doctor, you might as well go home and wait. I'm suing you for $50,000, and that is final.
Oh, Mrs. Simmons.
Hello. Yes, well, certainly.
This picture over your mantle.
That picture happens to be the pride and joy of this household. I'll be waiting for your order.
Who painted it?
I don't know, some man. He came here for the sittings, and then we paid him, and then he left. Yes, well, this is texture 1567. Very well.
Well, I suppose if you have the money to pay people, you can persuade them to do anything.
Doctor, do you remember what I said to you when you helped me out of that bathtub at your place?
You expressed yourself. I don't remember the words.
I said this is blatant civility. Isn't that what I said?
You said something of the sort.
You brought this up, you might as well learn something quick. The difference between a mechanical thing like a photograph and a fine oil painting is that the painting shows not only the reality, but the dreams beyond the reality. It's our dreams that separate us from the beasts. I wouldn't want to keep living if it was all just eating and sleeping and taking off my clothes. Well, putting them back on again. Oh, doctor!
Now, what's the matter?
Doctor, that is not my mother!
Glad to hear that.
Elwood's been here, he's been here!
You better be quiet. I'll take it, I'll take it. Hello? Yes, who's calling? Here he is, Mrs. Simmons. It's your brother.
Let me speak with him.
Don't tell him I'm here. Be casual.
Hello, Elwood. Where are you? Hold on just a moment. It won't work. He asked if Harvey is here.
Tell him Harvey is here.
But he isn't.
Tell him. That'll bring him here, perhaps. Humor him. We have to humor it.
Yes, Elwood. Yes, dear. Harvey is here. He asked to speak with him.
Do you have any ideas?
Nope.
Tell him Harvey is here, but he can't come to the telephone. Say he's in the bathtub.
The bathtub?
Say he's in the bathtub, and we'll send him over there. That way we'll find out where he is.
Oh, doctor.
Now you've got to do it, Mrs. Simmons.
Elwood. Yes, dear. Harvey is here. Oh, but he can't come to the telephone. He's in the bathtub. I'll send him over as soon as he's dry. But now, Elwood, where are you, dear? What? Elwood? Oh,
Did he hang up?
Harvey just walked in the door. He told me to check in the bathtub. It must be a stranger. But I know where he's gone. He's over at Charlie's over on 12th and Main.
12th of Main. That's 2 blocks down and 1 over, isn't it?
Doctor, where are you going?
I'm going out there to get your brother and take him back to the sanitarium where he belongs.
You don't want to do that. Send one of your attendants. I'm warning you.
But Mrs. Simmons, if I'm to help your
Help
brother...
him! There is no help for Elwood. He must be picked up and locked up and left.
You consider your brother a dangerous man.
Dangerous?
Why?
Oh, I won't tell you why, but if I didn't think he was dangerous, do you think I'd be asking for a permanent commitment for him?
Then I must observe this man. I must watch the expression on his face as he speaks to this rabbit. He does speak to the rabbit, you say?
They tell each other everything.
What's that?
Yes, certainly, he speaks to him. Oh, but I'm warning you, don't go out there. You'll regret it if you do.
Nonsense. You underestimate me, Miss Simmons.
You underestimate my brother.
Not at all. Don't worry now. I'll handle him.
You'll handle him. That's what you think. Myrtle May! Chuckles in the bathtub!
Thank you.
How about the stuff in your room, doctor? Upstairs.
All packed, thanks, Wilson.
I'm getting bounced. I had you pegged for the one to make the grade.
Those are the breaks.
When are you taking off?
As soon as Dr. Chumley gets back.
Have you received a report back yet from the desk sergeant at the Police Accident Bureau?
Not yet. I just talked to the downtown dispensary and I haven't seen him.
It's beginning to smell awful funny to me. 4 hours he's been gone and not a word from me. I may not see you again, doctor, so I just want to say I wish you a lot of luck. And I'm mighty sorry you got a kick in the ass, right?
Thanks, Wilson. Good luck to you, too.
Look, Kelly, let me know when you hear from the desk sergeant again. If there's no sign of the doctor, I'm going to have to go into town and look for him. He should know better than going after a psycho without me.
I'd like to help you look for the doctor, too, Wilson.
Oh, that's well of you, doctor. Right after he gave you the brush.
I have no resentment against Dr. Chumley. He was right, I was wrong. Dr. Chumley's the biggest man in this field. My loss not to be able to work with him.
You're not so small yourself, doctor.
Thanks, Wilson.
Go and sit down.
Dr. Sanderson?
Yes?
Well, doctor, I'd like to say that I wish you a lot of luck, too. And I'm sorry to see you leave.
Are you sure you can spare these good wishes, Miss Kelly?
On second thought, I guess I can't. Forget it.
Miss Kelly, this is for nothing, just a little advice. I'd be a little careful if I were you about the kind of company I kept.
I beg your pardon, doctor?
You don't have to. I told you it was free. I saw you dancing with that drip in the Rose Room down at the Frontier Hotel.
Oh, did you? I didn't notice you.
Be a little careful of him, Kelly. He looked to me like a schizophrenic all the way across the floor.
You really shouldn't have given him a thought, doctor. He was my date, not yours.
That was his mentality. The rest of them, oh, well.
But she was beautiful, though.
Who?
That girl you were with.
I thought you didn't notice.
You bumped into us twice. How could I help it?
Not that this makes any difference to you, but that girl was a charming little lady. She knows how to conduct herself, and she has a sweet, kind disposition.
Funny, she couldn't rate a better date on a Saturday night.
And she has an excellent mind.
Why doesn't she use it?
Oh, I don't suppose you're censored for the flippin' hard shell you have. Probably compensating for something.
I am not. And don't you use any of your psychiatry on me.
I could try something else on you, Kelly, just once. Just to see if you break under any circumstances. I doubt it.
You'll never know, Doctor.
Because you interest me as a case history, that's all. I want to know where you get that inflated ego.
You are the meanest person I ever... Inflated ego case history.
Oh, don't walk away. Let's finish it.
Oh, leave me alone.
Gladly.
Chumley's rest. Yes, Sergeant. No accident report on him either in town or the suburbs. Look, Sergeant, maybe we'd better... Oh, never mind. They're here now. Mr. Dowd.
Good evening, my dear. These are for you.
For me? Oh, thank you.
They're quite fresh, too. Just picked them outside.
I hope Dr. Chumley didn't see you. They're his prized dahlias. Did he go upstairs?
Not knowing, I cannot state. Those colors are lovely against your hair.
Oh, I never wear this color purple. It's such a try.
You would improve any color, my dear.
Thank you. Did Dr. Chumley go over to his house?
I don't know. Where's Dr. Sanderson?
In his office there, I think.
Thank you.
Dowd, there you are.
I have a cab outside if it's possible for the two of you to get away now.
Where's Dr. Chumley?
Is he coming with us? That's nice.
I don't know, Doctor.
I must apologize for being a few seconds late. I thought Miss Kelly should have some flowers. After what happened out here this afternoon, the flowers really should be from you, Doctor. As you grow older and pretty women pass you by, you will think with deep gratitude on these generous girls of your youth. Shall we go?
Oh, just a minute, Wilson. Dowd. The situation has changed since you were last here. But I urge you to have no resentments. Dr. Chumley is your friend. Only wants to help you.
Well, that's nice of him. I'd like to help him too.
You begin by taking a cooperative attitude. That's half the battle. We all have to face reality down sooner or later.
Doctor, I wrestled with reality for 40 years. And I am happy to state that I finally won out of it. Won't you and Miss Kelly join me? Down in Charlie's.
Oh, here you are. Upstairs, buddy. We're going upstairs. Doctor, okay?
Fine.
Wait a minute. There must be some kind of mistake. Dr. Sanderson and Miss Kelly and I were going downtown for a drink. I'd be glad to have you come with us, Miss
Wilson.
Wilson. They have a wonderful floor show.
Yeah? Well, wait till you see the floor show we've got. Upstairs, buddy.
Just a minute, Wilson. Where did you say Dr. Chumley went tonight, Dowd?
As I said, he did not confide his plans in me.
Wait, you mean the doctor ain't showed up yet?
Not yet.
Where is he?
That's what we're trying to find out.
Mr. Dowd walked in here by himself.
Oh, did he, huh? Listen, you talk fast, or I'm working you over.
I'd rather you didn't do that. And I'd rather you didn't even mention such a thing in the presence of a lovely young lady like Miss Kelly.
Mr. Dowd, Dr. Chumley went into town to pick you up. That was 4 hours ago.
Where has the evening gone to?
Listen to that! Oh, he's smart, eh?
Just a minute, Wilson. Did you see Dr. Chumley tonight, Dowd?
Oh, yes, I did. He came to Charlie's place around dinner time. It is a cozy spot. Let's all go there now and talk it over with the tall one.
Whoa, we are going no place. Now I'm asking you a question, and if you don't button your lip and give me some straight answers, I'm gonna beat him out of you.
What you suggest is impossible.
What's that?
Well, you suggest that I button my lip and give you some straight answers. It can't be done.
Let me handle this, Wilson.
Well, handle it. We'll find out where the doctor is.
Mr. Dowd, Dr. Chumley did go into Charlie's place, you say?
But he did, and I was very happy to see him.
Go on.
Well, he had asked for me, and naturally the proprietor brought him over and left. We exchanged the conventional greetings. I said, "How do you do, Dr. Chumley?" And he said, "How do you do, Mr. Dowd?" I believe we said that at least once.
Okay.
I'm trying to be factual. I then introduced him to Harvey.
To who?
A white rabbit, 6 feet tall.
6 feet?
6.5 feet.
Okay, yeah. Fool around with him. The doctor's probably someplace bleeding to death in a ditch.
If those were his plans for the evening, he did not tell me.
Go on, Dad.
Well, Dr. Chumley came over to sit in the booth with us. I was seated on the outside, but... like this. Harvey was seated on the inside near the wall, and Dr. Chumley was seated directly across from him.
That's
where
right.
he could look at.
Spent all night in the seating arrangements.
Well, Harvey then suggested to me that I buy him a drink. Knowing that he does not like to drink alone, I suggested to Dr. Chumley that we join him.
And so?
We joined him.
Go on.
We joined him again.
Then what?
We kept right on joining him.
Skip on joining!
You were asking me to skip a rather large portion of the evening.
Just tell us what happened. Come on, please.
Well, Dr. Chumley and Harvey got into a conversation. Quietly at first. Then it became rather heated, and Dr. Chumley raised his voice.
Yeah, why?
Well, Harvey seemed to feel that Dr. Chumley should assume part of the financial responsibility for the joining. Well, Dr. Chumley didn't seem to want to do that.
No, that part of it I can believe.
Let him talk. See how far he'll go. This guy's got guts.
Well, I agreed to pay for the whole thing, because I didn't want any trouble. We go down to Charlie's quite often, a Harvey. The proprietor is a fine man, with an interesting approach to life. But then the other matter came up.
What, skip the damn double talk and get on with it?
Mr. Wilson, you're a sincere type of person, but I must ask you not to use that kind of language in the presence of Miss Kelly.
You're right, Dal. We're sorry. You said the other matter came up?
There was a beautiful blonde woman, a Mrs. Smethles, and her escort seated in the booth across from us. Dr. Chumley went over to her, explaining to her that they had once met in Chicago. Her escort then escorted Dr. Chumley back to Harvey and me, and tried to point out to him that it would be better for him to stick to his own affairs. Does he have any?
Something what?
Does he have any affairs?
How am I supposed to know?
Please hurry, Mr. Dowd. We're all so worried.
Well, Dr. Chumley then urged Harvey to go over with him to Blondie's Chicken Inn. Harvey wanted to go to Eddie's instead. While they were arguing, I went to the bar to order another drink, and when I came back, they were gone.
Where did they go? I mean, where did Dr. Chumley go?
I don't know. I had a date out here with Dr. Sanderson and Miss Kelly, so I came out to pick them up, hoping that later on we might run into Harvey and the doctor and make a party of it.
So, you satisfied? Oh, you two got a story. Okay, you're lying and we know it.
Oath. Mr. Wilson, I never lie.
You did something with the doctor. I'm gonna find out what
Don't
it is.
touch him, Wilson!
Maybe he isn't lying, Wilson.
That's all this guy is a bunch of lies. You really don't believe the story he tells about the doctor sitting there talking to a big white rabbit. Do you?
Maybe Dr. Chumley did go to Charlie's place.
And saw a big white rabbit, I suppose.
And why not? Harvey was there. At first, the doctor seemed a little intimidated by him, but that gave way to admiration as the evening wore on. The evening wore on. That's a nice expression. With your permission, I'll say it again. The evening wore on.
Yeah, with your permission, I'm gonna knock your teeth out of your throat! What are you doing? Get off me!
Mr. Doe! Don't you have some old friends you can go play with?
The nerve of this guy! An ordinary case of the DTs, no. You had to come in here with a 6-foot white rabbit!
Stimulating as this all is, I feel I must be getting downtown.
Charlie's place. Is Dr. Chumley there? He was there with Mr. Dowd earlier this evening. What? Oh, don't bite my head off! My, that man was mad. He said Mr. Dowd is welcome anytime, but his friend was not.
That's Mr. McNulty, the bartender. He thinks a lot of me. Let's all go there now and have a drink.
But wait a minute!
Mr. Dowd.
Yes, my dear. May I hold your hand?
Yes, if you'd like. Poor Mrs. Chumley is so worried. Something must have happened to the doctor. Won't you please try and remember something? Something else that might help her? Please.
For you, I would do anything. I would almost be willing to live my life over again. Almost. But I've told it all.
You're sure?
Quite sure. But ask me again, won't you? I quite like that warm tone you had in your voice just then.
So did I.
Nuts.
What?
Nuts.
Oh, I really must be going. I have things to do.
Mr. Dowd, what is it you do?
Harvey and I sit in the bars. We have a drink or two and play the jukebox. Soon, the faces of the other people turn toward mine, and they smile. They're saying, "We don't know your name, mister, but you're a lovely fellow." Harvey and I warm ourselves in these golden moments. We have entered as strangers. Soon, we are friends. They sit with us. They drink with us. They talk to us. They tell us about the big, terrible things they have done. The big, wonderful things they will do. Their hopes, their regrets, their loves, their hates. All very large because nobody ever brings anything small into a bar. And I introduce them to Harvey. He is bigger and grander than anything they have to offer me. When they leave impressed. The same people seldom come back, but that's envy, my dear. There's a little bit of envy in the best of us.
How'd you happen to call him Harvey?
Well, Harvey is his name.
How do you know that?
That was rather an interesting coincidence, Doctor. One night I was walking along Fairfax Street, between 18th and 19th. You know that block?
Yes, yes.
Well, I just helped Ed Hickey into a taxi. Ed had been mixing his ride with his gin, and I felt he needed conveying. Well, I started to walk along when I heard a voice behind me say, "Good evening, Mr. Dowd." Well, I turned, and there was this great white rabbit leaning against the lamppost. Well, I thought nothing of it, because once you have lived in a town as long as I've lived in this one, you get used to the fact that everybody knows your name. Well, I started to talk to him, and he asked me, "Ed Hickey is a little spiff tonight, or could I be mistaken?" Well, of course, he was not mistaken. I think the world and all of Ed, but he was spiffed. Well, we chatted a little more, and finally I said to him, "You have the advantage over me. You know my name, and I don't know yours." Right back at me, he said, "What name do you like?" Well, I didn't even have to think a minute. Harvey has always been my favorite name. So I said, "Harvey." And this is the interesting part of the whole thing. He said to me, "What a coincidence. My name happens to be Harvey."
What was your father's name, Mr. Dowd?
John Frederick.
When you were young, you had a playmate, didn't you? Someone that you were very fond of, with whom you spent many happy, carefree hours?
Oh, yes, Doctor. Didn't you?
What was his name?
Vern McKellen. Did you ever know the McKellens, Doctor?
No.
Too bad. There were a lot of them, and they circulated. Wonderful people.
Think carefully, Dad. Wasn't there someone, somewhere, sometime, who you knew by the name of Harvey? Didn't you know anybody by that name?
No, Doctor. Not one. Maybe that's why I always had such hopes for it.
Come on, Wilson, let's take Mr. Dowd upstairs now.
I'm taking him nowhere. You made this your show, now you're gonna run it. Let him sit there and forget all about the doctor. Okay, it's your show. Go run it.
Let's go upstairs now, Mr. Dowler. Come on.
Very well, Lyman. But I'm afraid I won't be able to visit with you for long. I have promised Harvey I will take him to the floor show.
Doctor! Are you alright?
All right. Of course I'm all right. I'm being followed. Lock that door. Who's following you? None of your business.
Doctor! How did you get out there? I just saw you go in there!
I crawled out my window. Wilson, don't leave me.
No, doctor.
Get that man down. Out of here.
Yes, doctor.
No, Wilson, don't
Doctor,
leave me.
you just said to...
Don't be on the telephone.
Just I put in a 7. Dumpy, get that guy down his clothes and get him down here right away.
No, Wilson, don't leave me.
Just a minute. Judge Gaffney, I want to see Dr. Chumley.
Oh.
Hey, Myrtle.
This thing is serious.
Oh, it certainly is.
More serious than you suspect. Where can we go to talk? Not in there.
The doctor does not want you in his office.
Oh, sure. Well, then, sit down, Dr. Chumley. Sit down, Myrtle May.
Sit down, Dr. Chumley. Sit down, Myrtle May. Don't go, Wilson. Don't leave me.
Now, Chumley, here are my notes. The facts. Is anybody listening to me?
Yeah, we can hear you. Is that okay?
Now, Chumley, has it ever occurred to you that there might possibly be something like this around at Harvey?
Of course there isn't. And anyone who thinks so is crazy. Oh, don't look at me like that. I'm not that way. Unlike my father's family, they're all dead.
Now, my client, the plaintiff, Miss Vita Louise Simmons, under oath swears on the morning of November 2nd, while standing in the kitchen of her home, hearing a name called, she turned and saw this great white rabbit, Harvey. He was staring at her. Resenting the intrusion, the plaintiff made stern remarks and drove the creature from the room. He went.
What did she say to him?
Oh, she was emphatic. The remarks are not important.
I want to know how she got this creature out of her sanitarium. I mean, her home.
I hate to have you tell him, Judge. This isn't one bit like Mother.
Quit stalling. Let's have it.
Wilson.
She looked him right in the eye and exclaimed in the heat of anger, "To hell with you!"
To hell with you. And he left?
Yes, but that's besides the point. The point is it perjury? Or is it something we can code with? I ask for your opinion.
Ruthie, I've been looking all over for you.
Dr. Sanderson, disregard what I said this afternoon. I want you on my staff. You are a very astute young man.
Oh, Lyman, did you hear?
Oh, baby.
See you later. Whatever. You just got to keep Uncle Elwood out here.
No, I want the sanitarium back the way it was before that man came out here this afternoon.
I know what you mean.
You do?
Well, it certainly would get on anyone's nerves the way Uncle Elwood knows what's going to happen before it actually happens. Oh, this morning, for instance, he told us that Harvey told him that Mrs. McKelvey's Aunt Rose would drop in on her unexpectedly tonight from Cleveland.
Did she?
Did she what?
Aunt Rose, did she come just as Harvey said she would?
Well, yeah. Those things always work out the way Uncle Elwood says they will. But, I mean, what of it? What do we care about the McKelveys?
You say this sort of thing happens often.
Yes, and isn't it silly? Uncle Elwood says that Harvey tells him everything. Harvey knows everything. How could he when there's no such thing as Harvey?
Fly specks. I've been spending my life among fly specks, while miracles have been leaning on lampposts on 18th and Fairfax.
Oh, good. Nobody here but people.
Oh, Mother, you said you wanted to come out here this afternoon.
Well, good evening to you. I brought your uncle's bathrobe. No, what are you all just sitting around? I thought you'd be committing him.
Sit down there, girl.
Oh, I will not sit down there.
How about you be stepping out on a Saturday night, Myrtle Man?
Absolutely not. Myrtle may come here. Now then, is it settled?
It will be.
May I give my opinion, Doctor?
His
Yes.
opinion.
Give your opinion, by all means.
He's the one I told you about. The eyes.
Doctor, it is my opinion that Elwood P. Gower is suffering from third-degree hallucination, and that the other party involved, the victim of auto-suggestion. I would recommend shock formula number 977 for him, and bed rest at home for,
You do?
That's my opinion, Doctor. Mrs. Simmons, your brother won't be able to see the rabbit after this injection. We've used it in hundreds of psychopathic cases.
Don't you call my brother a psychopathic case. We've never had anything like that in our household.
If you didn't think he was psychopathic, why did you bring him out here?
I couldn't have brought him to jail, could I? In a town full of people, why did Harvey have to bother your Uncle Elwood?
Stop putting your oar in. Keep your oar out. If this shock formula brings people back to reality, give it to him. That is where we want Elwood.
I'm not sure it would work in a case of this kind, Doctor.
It always has, Doctor.
Well, Harvey does always follow Elwood home.
He does?
Certainly. But if you give him this formula, we won't be able to see him anymore. And the next time Harvey comes to the door, I'll deal with him.
Won't you stop talking about Harvey as if there were such a thing?
Myrtle May, you've got a lot to learn, and I hope you never learn it.
Shh! Here he is.
Well, good evening, everybody.
Good evening, Elwood. I brought you your bathrobe.
Well, thank you, Ada.
Well, Chumley, we've got to do something.
We certainly must.
I should say so.
Yes, it's imperative.
Well, while you're making up your minds, why don't we all go down to Charlie's and have a drink?
Elwood, dear, you're not going anywhere.
Yes, Uncle Elwood.
Stay here.
You want me to stay? I plan to leave. An element of conflict in any discussion is a good thing. It means that everybody's taking part and nobody is left out. I like that. Oh, how did your time with Harvey go, Doctor?
Shh. We are waiting for your answer, Doctor.
What?
What is your decision?
I must be alone with this man. Would you all step into the other room? I'll have my diagnosis in a moment.
Do worry, Doctor.
I will.
Elwood, dear, you stay here.
Here, Mr. Dowd. Let me give you this chair. Sit down right here. Would you like a cigar?
No, thank you.
Is there anything else I can do for you?
What did you have in mind?
Mr. Dowd, what kind of a man are you? Where do you come from?
Didn't I give you one of my cards?
And where on the face of this tired old earth did you find a thing like him?
Harvey the Puka.
Is it true that he has a function? That he...
Gets advance notice? I'm happy to say that it is. Harvey is versatile. Harvey can stop clocks.
What?
Oh, you've heard that expression, his face could stop a clock?
Yes, but why? To what purpose?
Well, Harvey says he can look at you and stop your clock. And you can go away as long as you like, with whomever you like, and go as far as you like. And when you come back, not 1 minute will have ticked by.
You mean that he actually...
Einstein has overcome time and space. Harvey has overcome not only time and space, but any objections.
Does he do this for you?
He is willing to at any time, but well, so far I've never been able to think of any place I'd rather be. I always have a wonderful time, wherever I am, whomever I'm with. I'm having a fun time right now with you, Doctor.
I know where I go.
Where?
I go to Akron.
Akron?
There's a cottage camp outside of Akron in a grove of maple trees. They're cool, green, just beautiful.
My favorite tree.
I'd go there with a pretty young woman, a strange woman, a quiet woman.
Under a tree.
I wouldn't even want to know her name. I would be just Mr. Brown.
Well, why wouldn't you want to know her name? You might be acquainted with the same people.
I would send out for cold beer. I would talk to her, tell her things I never told anyone. Things that are locked in here. And then, I would send out for more cold beer.
No whiskey?
Beer is better.
Maybe on a tree. But she might like a highball.
I wouldn't let her talk to me. But as I talked, I wanted to reach out a soft white hand, stroke my head, and say, "Poor thing. Oh, you poor, poor thing."
How long would you like that to go?
2 weeks.
Wouldn't that get monotonous? Just Akron beer and poor, poor thing for 2 weeks?
No. No, it would not. It would be wonderful.
Well, I can't help but feel you're making a mistake in not allowing that woman to talk. If she gets around at all, she may have picked up some very interesting little news items. And I'm sure you're making a mistake with all that beer and no whiskey. But it's your 2 weeks.
Cold beer at Akron. And one last fling. Oh, man.
Would you like to lie down a while, Doctor?
Tell me, Mr. Dowd, would he
hardly say a word against Akron. By the way, Doctor, where is Harvey?
Why? Don't you know?
Well, the last time I saw him, he was with you.
Ah.
Oh, he's probably waiting for me down at Charlie's.
Yes, that's it. He's down at Charlie's. On your way.
Excuse me, Doctor.
No, Mr. Dowd. Not in there.
But I couldn't leave without saying goodbye to my friend, Dr. Sanderson.
Mr. Dowd, Dr. Sanderson is not your friend. None of those people are your friends. I am your friend.
Well, thank you, Doctor. And I'm yours.
And this sister of yours, she is at the bottom of this conspiracy against you. She's trying to persuade me to lock you up. Today she had commitment papers drawn up. She's got your power of attorney and the key to your safety box. She brought you out here.
My sister did all that in one afternoon. Vita is certainly a whirlwind.
Good heavens, man. Haven't you any righteous indignation?
Doctor, my mother used to say to me, in this world, Elwood, you must be, oh, so smart. Or, oh, so pleasant. For years, I was smart. I recommend pleasant. You may quote me.
Just the same, I will protect you even if I have to commit her. Would you like me to do that for you?
No, Doctor. Not unless Vita wanted it that way. Oh, not that you don't have a nice place out here, but I think Vita would be happier at home. With me and Harvey and Myrtle May. Miss Kelly! Diviner grace has never brightened this enchanting face. Ovid's fifth elegy. My dear, you will never look lovelier.
I'll never feel happier, Mr. Dowd. I know it.
Well,
Yes, Doctor.
I wonder if I might be able to remember any more of that poem.
Say, maybe this rabbit gag's a good one. Kelly never kissed me.
Ovid has always been my favorite poet.
Okay, pal, you're the stars. This way out.
Wilson, take your hands off that man.
What?
Apologize to Mr. Dowd.
To him, the guy with the rabbit?
Apologize. Apologize.
I apologize. This is the door.
If I leave, I'll remember.
Wait a minute, Dowd. Do women often come up to you and kiss you like Miss Kelly did just now?
Well, every once in a while.
Yes?
Well, I encourage you too.
To hell with decency. I've got to have that back. Oh, go ahead and knock.
Dr. Sanderson, I couldn't leave.
Just a minute, Dowd. Doctor, do you agree with my diagnosis?
Yes. Well, bring them all in.
Thank you, Doctor. Mrs. Simmons, Judge Gaffney, could you step down here a minute, please? Thank you.
Is it settled?
I find I concur with Dr. Sanderson.
Thank you, Doctor.
Good man.
Well, let's celebrate. I've got some new bars listed in the back of this book.
This injection carries a violent reaction. We can't give it to him without his consent. Will he give it?
He certainly will if I ask him.
To give up this rabbit? I doubt it.
Don't ask him, just give it to him.
Bessie's barn dance, Better Late Than Never, Blondie's chickening. Benny's driving.
Elwood.
We'll go to Benny's driving. We should telephone for a table. How many of us will there be, Vita?
Oh, Elwood.
Mr. Dowd, I have a Formula 977 that will be very good for you. Will you take it?
Elwood, you won't see this rabbit anymore.
But you will see your responsibilities, your duties.
I'm sure if you thought of it, Doctor, it must be a very fine thing. And if I happen to run into anybody who needs it, I'll be glad to recommend it. For myself, I wouldn't care for it.
Oh, hear that, doctor? Hear that, judge? That's what we have to put up with.
Vita, do you want me to take this?
Oh, Elwood, I'm only thinking of you. You're my brother, and I care about you so much. I'd do anything for you. Oh, Harvey wouldn't do anything for you. He's making a fool out of you. Oh, don't let him make a fool out of you.
I won't.
Oh, why, you could amount to so much. You could be sitting on the Western Slope waterboard right now if only you'd go over and ask them.
All right, Vita. If that's what you want, Harvey and I will go over and ask them tomorrow.
Oh, I wish to never see another tomorrow. If Myrtle May and I have to keep living with Harvey. Oh, we have no social life anymore. We really have no life at all. I wish I were dead, but maybe you don't care.
I've always felt that Vita should have whatever she wants. Vita, are you sure? I'll take it. Where do I go?
To Dr. Sanderson's office, Mr. Guy.
Say goodbye to the old fellow for me. Won't you?
Oh, I will.
How long is it going to take, Doctor? Only a few minutes. Why don't you wait? We'll wait.
The doctor said it won't be but a few minutes.
Mother, stop fidgeting.
Oh, how can I help it?
Oh, Mother, isn't this stunning? Oh, couldn't you see me in a house coat made of this material?
Certainly, dear. Oh, but let me get a good night's sleep first.
Come in. What do you want?
Yeah, I'm looking for a short. Yeah, that. Lady, you jumped out of the cab without paying.
Oh, I totally forgot. How much do I owe you?
All the way out here from town? About $2.75.
$2.75. Oh, I could have sworn I brought my coin purse. Oh, Myrtle, do you have any money on you?
Oh, I spent the money Uncle Elwood gave me for my new hairdo for the party.
Judge, do you have $2.75 I could give this man?
Sorry, nothing but checks.
Yeah, we don't take checks.
I know.
Doctor, do you have $2.75 I could borrow to pay this cab driver?
Haven't got my wallet. There's no time to get it now. I have to get on with this injection. Sorry.
Well, I'll get it for you from my brother. He's just in there to get injection. It won't be but a few minutes.
You're gonna get my money from your brother. And he's in there getting some of that stuff that they shoot up here.
Yes, it won't be but a few moments.
No. Lady, I want my money right now.
But I said it won't be but a few minutes. Besides, I want you to drive us back to town anyway.
But I said, I want my money now. Otherwise, I'm nosing my cab back to town. And you can just wait for the bus at 6 in the morning.
Well, of all the pig-headed stubborn things!
I should say so.
What is the matter with you?
Hey, nothing that $2.75 won't fix. You heard me. Take it or leave it.
I've never heard of anything so unreasonable in my entire life. Doctor, will you let Elwood step out of here for a minute? This cab driver won't wait.
Don't be too long.
Elwood, dear, I stepped off without my coin purse. Would you mind giving this cab driver $2.75? Oh, but don't give him a penny more. He's been very rude.
How do you do? Dowd is my name. Elwood P.
Lofgren's mine. EJ.
Nice to meet you, Mr. Loeffler. This is my sister, Mrs. Simmons. My charming little niece, Myrtle May Simmons. Judge Gaffney, and Dr. Chumley.
Yeah. Hi. Hi.
Have you lived around here long, Mr. Loeffler?
Yeah, I've lived around here all my life.
Do you enjoy your work?
It's okay, I guess. Been driving for Apex Cabs around 15 years. My brother Joe's been driving for Brown's Cabs about 12.
You drive for Apex, and your brother Joe for Browns? Oh, that's interesting, isn't it, Vita? Mr. Loeffler, let me give you one of my cards.
You better get on with this, Mr. Dowd.
Certainly. 1 minute. My sister and my charming little niece who live with me here, at this address. Won't you and your brother come for dinner sometime?
Yeah, sure. I'd be glad to.
When? When would you be glad to?
It'd have to be Tuesday. I'm on duty all the rest of the week.
Then you must come on Tuesday. We'll expect you and be delighted to have you. Won't we, Vita?
Oh, Elwood. I'm sure this man has plenty of friends of his own.
Vita, one can't have too many friends.
Don't let the doctor wait. It's very rude.
Of course. Here you are. Keep the change. We'll expect you with your brother on Tuesday. Be delighted to see you. Will you excuse me now?
Sure.
Thank you.
Sweet guy.
You could have just as well waited.
No. Lady, I've been driving this route for 15 years, okay? I'll bring them out here to get this stuff, take them back after they had it. It changes them.
I certainly hope so.
Yeah, you're kidding. When I bring them out here, they sit back and enjoy the ride. They talk, watch the birds, you know? Sometimes we get out and watch the sunsets. Other times we watch the birds when there ain't no birds. Watch the sunsets when it's raining. It's always a good time. I always get a big tip. But afterwards,
Afterwards, ho ho ho. What do you mean afterwards, ho ho ho?
crab. Yell at me to watch the lights, watch the brakes, watch the intersections. They scream at me to hurry up. They got no faith in me or my brother. But it's the same cab, the same driver, and we're going over the very same street. It's no fun. Never any tipsy.
Well, my brother would have tipped you just the same either way. He's very generous. Always has been.
No, lady. After this, he's gonna be a perfectly normal human being. We all know what bastards they are. Glad I met you. I'll wait.
Oh. Oh, Judge! Oh, Myrtle! Oh, stop it! Let him out of there!
Mother!
You can't do that. Dr. Charlie is giving the injection.
Oh, I don't want him to have him! I don't want him like that! I don't like people like that!
Do something about her mother! Stop it!
Oh, you shut up! I lived longer than you have! I remember my father! I remember your father! I remember...
What's all this commotion?
What's the problem, Doc? Is she sounding off again?
She wants to stop the injection.
You haven't given it to him yet, have you?
No, but we're ready. Take her away, Wilson.
Leave me alone, you white
You don't know what you want. You didn't want this rabbit either.
What's wrong with Harvey? If Myrtle May and I want Harvey around the place, it's nothing to you. Why, you don't even have to come around. Oh, Elwood! Oh.
There, sister. Vita is all tired out. She's done a lot today.
Have it your own way. I'm not giving up my game at the club again, no matter how big the animal is.
Oh, Elwood, let's get out of here. I hate this place. I wish I'd never seen it.
But see here.
It's whatever Vita says, Doctor.
Why? Look at that. My Sleuthurst. It must have been here the whole time. I could have paid that cab driver myself. Harvey! Come along, Myrtle May. Myrtle May! Come along, Elwood.
Nice couple, aren't they?
Hurry up!
Good night, Mr. Wilson.
Good night.
Now, Dr. Jones. Good night.
Come along, Elwood!
You know, Doctor, for years, I've known what my family thinks of Harvey. But I've often wondered what Harvey's family thinks of me. There you are. Doctor, do you mind? You're standing in his way. Where have you been? I've been looking all over for you. You went where? Huh. You'll have to tell me about it.